can't believe I'm saying it, but I'm a Cats fan now. I cannot believe what I saw. I'm like, what? This production uses ballroom culture as a way to inform this new production of Cats. So basically, to give you the breakdown, it's a competitive place that you can go on a catwalk and compete in specific categories. In the context of the production, cat is slang for any person or ally who is part of the ballroom scene. So here is the picture of the set. I sat in the middle. It was a great seat. There was one person that was like sitting like this the whole time, or like not like that, but like kind of like sitting like this. It blocked me from a lot, so that was annoying. But as for the production itself, great production values. I mean, the sets, the lighting, the costumes, the choreography. I mean, oh my god, guys. I have not felt this energy from an audience in years, maybe ever. I have never walked out of a show feeling so joyous and happy and feeling so energized watching a production in years. Like, I mean, this rivals Here Lies Love, Here We Are, Days of Wine and Roses, and you know how much I love those shows. But this was something else. I mean, it's hard to put into words or to verbalize. You just have to go and see it. But basically, it's the same plot as Cats. It's the same thing, you know, but it's done with the slight reorchestrations in certain numbers, and it works very, very well. Other numbers are completely sounding the same. But yeah, the Jellicle song for Jellicle Cats and was like, oh my god, it was, the energy off the bat was like, whoa. Like, they were catwalk, they were just, you know, doing it. You know, and I wanted to do it, but it didn't look good. Like, accessible. It felt like you were finally invested in the story that doesn't have a story or characters. It's vignettes of people singing about why they should go to the Heaviside Layer, and that's pretty much it. You know, it's not like it actually has big script, you know, things in it, if that makes sense. It's not a show that is heavy on story. It's heavy on spectacle and on set and all that stuff. And, you know, when I think about why Cats succeeded, I think Cats succeeded because it was put back in the 80s in the boom of the mega musicals, which was London musicals coming to New York City, and they had spectacle and big costumes, and people were enamored by that, even though the plot and the music was kind of boring. They were like, you know what, it's cool. And you know what, no production of Cats has lived up to the London production or the original Broadway production, both of which, one of them used a rotating set, the other was like fully immersive, and as you know from other revivals and tours in the movie, that's just not the case. So I definitely do think it's a case of having a production of Cats that is well done and well directed. But this was very beautifully directed. The director of this show was Zalani Livingston, if I'm saying that correctly, and Bill Roch were the two directors, and they were phenomenal. Like, they had a vision. Again, like Cabaret, they had a clear vision of the show. They went for it. It wasn't super, like, quote-unquote mainstream, but obviously I think this is a lot more mainstream than Cabaret. It's not as weird. But, again, I like when artists take bold swings, bold chances, and they saw a connection between ballroom culture and the Cats musical, and it works so well together that it almost feels as if that's how the show was always done, even though it's not. I think that, again, it was meant to be. It was a meant to be syncing of two ideas and a concept in a show. It really felt like a competition you could get invested in that made sense. It wasn't this mythological thing that just felt so out of reach and felt so out of touch and felt so like I can't get into that. It just felt like more accessible. And again, the costumes were so beautiful. Oh my god, the costumes were like, these are the best costumes I've ever seen in a musical, period. Exclamation point. I have to be honest. These costumes were stunning. Like, absolutely beautifully done. I think, who was the costume designer? Queen Jean, I think, is how you pronounce that. If I'm pronouncing that, I'm sorry for saying it the wrong way. But the costumes were phenomenal. I mean, they were glittery, they were distinguished, they were different, they were inventive, they were colorful. I mean, you just have to it must be believed to be seen, as the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory song says. I can't even like verbalize. Just, you gotta go and see it. You gotta go and see it, and you can't see it. But I think you're gonna be able to see it again. You had Mungo Jerry and Wimple Teaser, which was a very fun number. Love their costumes at the end. They have like this green alien-like costume on, and it was phenomenal. Old Deuteronomy, played by Andre DeShields, he's a legend. He got a standing ovation. His entrance was fantastic. Oh my god, he did like this vocal thing where he held the notes at the beginning for like what felt like forever. And again, this guy's 80. He's like Joe Biden's age. And he's moving, he's grooving, he's singing like a 30-year-old. Like, the guy is a master. He is the true royalty of musical theater. It just was mind-blowing. You know, just when I thought Andre DeShields blew me away in Hadestown, he blows me away completely differently in Cats. And what I liked about Introduction to the Jellicle Ball and Songs of the Jellicles and the Jellicle Ball was the different people getting ready for the competition, and then it was them showing off all of their various different looks, and it wasn't a lot of dancing, which is what happens in most other productions. And I remember seeing it back in 2016 and get kind of losing interest because it was the same repetitive ballerina movements. But this, it felt fresh, it felt new. There were new costumes, new things to look into. You kept invested, and for a director and for a concept to do something like that for Cats, they're genius, and it is genius, and it is a true, like, oh my god, Cats works now. And then Grisabella the Glamour Cat was such a beautiful moment. The lighting design was very beautiful. They have like a disco that comes around. They have very immaculate, beautiful lighting that's all around you, especially in the opening number. The cats are in various places. They even like went through the middle of my row and just like started dancing, and the sound was like really crisp and clear and loud, and you felt it in your bones, and it was fantastic. You know what I mean? It took a story and it elevated it to the next level of like storytelling, and it made you feel invested and care. I was not bored, did not have a sleepy eye like I did in the 2016 one. It was just absolute investment and pleasure and enjoyment and feeling euphoria, and again, I'm just gonna go on and on and on if I keep talking like this, but it's true. It's like, oh my goodness, like, that's Cats. I understand the hype. I get it. I love Cats. Cats is a fantastic show. And just looking at the music, it's fantastic music, but this production is the definitive production of Cats. This is the only way Cats should be done, because I think it's only the only true way to get people invested in this story and fully get behind it on an emotional level, because I feel like now people that see Cats see it because, oh, it's supposed to be a good show, rather than this is a fantastic show that we recommend. Moments of Happiness was a very interesting song. They had the opening of Act 2 honoring the drag queen mothers, I think is what it was called. This was absolutely phenomenal. Just 10 out of 10 all across the board. Like, if you hate Cats, go and see it. You will love it. If you love Cats, you're gonna love this even more. If you're a fan of musical theater, if you're a fan of anything to do with good entertainment, go and see this show, because it is truly one of the best things I've seen in a long time. I don't know how this would do in a Broadway house. I think some of the energy and downtown quality of it would lose some of its charm, but it would transfer very well. But I think from a business perspective, would this production of Cats do well for a long time? And I don't know, because as you know, our political climate is so polarized, and there's a lot of trans, gay, and LGBTQ plus people in this production really getting to be who they want to be and showing that off. I mean, they, wiggle their butts, they squeeze their butts, they have little skimpy outfits on, and it's not meant to be sexual. It's meant to be something to be respected, something to be yeah, good, but not everyone's going to get that. And I definitely think that, unlike the original Cats, you probably aren't going to take, a 5-year-old or a 6-year-old, or maybe even a 7-year-old to see it, just because of how, explicit it can get in some of its sexuality, but that's the way the production should be. But I definitely do think that, when they do performances on the parade or at the Tonys, the audiences are going to be probably expecting much different Cats from the one they're going to get, which is, again, very loud, it's very in your face, it's very of the now. It's not classical Cats where you just clap and you're like, oh, that was a good number. It's like, yeah, let's stand up, let's clap along, and let's dance, and the music's loud, and the beat's fine, and it's this Technicolor fused thing with all voguing and big dance moves, and they're, giving out champagne and just having a good time, and just definitely is not a conventional theater experience, and neither should it be, because we need more theater like this that's taking risks, that's taking beloved works and defining it for the now while not being too preachy or too over the top or whatever, and they're just focused on being entertaining pieces of material that everyone can enjoy if they accept the stuff in Cats. But again, let me know in the comments what you think Cats' future on Broadway is. My early predictions, I think it will sell very well in the beginning, but I think toward maybe at the end or in the fall, if it does come next year, I could see falling off heavily, because I do think there will be people that will be against this show. Although again, it's premiered at the PAC and everybody's loved it, so maybe everybody will love it. But I hope this comes to Broadway and is there for a long time, because a lot of underrepresented voices and creatives are on this team that deserve to be nominated, deserve to be recognized, and deserve to be on the biggest stage ever. I've been going on for way too long going to see Cats. It's 10 out of 10, and I'm a Cats fan for life. I'm a stan, what can I say?